Hello everyone, very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of you. This is your host Vaibhav. In our today's session of trading with the Visual JForex, we are going to continue our work of developing the algorithms using relative strength index. This is going to be the third and final part of this series of sessions involving the RSI. I will be continuing the work done so far. We will add the trade execution orders, some conditions which are going to be used for the execution of the trade. I had explained to you the pros and the cons, the advantages and the disadvantages of the RSI, and we are going to try to get around these problems. There are obvious shortcomings in the RSI. We can't really rely on it all the times. There are some possibilities where we can generate some filtering mechanisms to reduce the false signals, and that's what we are trying with the help of this min-max formation. I have plotted the RSI in the bottom of this chart, and we have this min-max plotted along with the Euro USD chart, which is defined for the candle period of 1 hour. We are working with the classical interpretation of the RSI, where the RSI gives us the idea regarding the overbought or oversold scenarios with its output value whenever is in extremes. If it is above 70, then it is considered overbought, and if it is below 30, then it is considered oversold. These are two extreme levels which happen when the underlying momentum is strong in either direction. But what can happen is that not all the times these extreme values will lead to reversals. Sometimes there won't be any reversal, rather the momentum remains strong and it continues to move in a one-way manner. So in these kind of scenarios, our trading algorithm using these overbought and oversold signals will be obviously generating false signals, and that's what we are trying to avoid. At least some of the trades can be avoided by adding some simple condition. One of the simple condition which we are going to employ is using the condition that the current maximum value, if you are looking for going for the trade when the underlying instrument has reached or what level in the RSI, if the RSI output has shot above 70, then we can add one condition that the maximum value of the current hour should be less than or equal to the maximum value 6 hours back. What will happen is, if you see this time around here, the maximum value started to rise, but if you had placed this condition, then there would have not been any sale order because the maximum value was on the rise, even though the underlying instruments RSI also was in the overbought territory, but it didn't really lead to the changes in the trend. Rather, the trend remains strong and it has continued to show the rise even in today's session. So by avoiding getting involved in the strong trend, you can avoid some obvious trading signals and try to optimize your trading outcome. Same thing can also be applied in inverse fashion for the oversold scenario if the underlying instrument is in oversold territory where the RSI output is below 30. But if you add this simple condition that the minimum of the current hour should be equal to or greater than the minimum of 6 hours back, then no trade signal will be generated even if the RSI output remains below 30. but the momentum is still strongly on the side of the bears. So we are not really going for the execution of the buy trade only when the underlying instrument goes into a sideways price channel for a considerable amount of time, and then there is no newer creation of highs and lows, and at those kind of instances I feel the algorithm using this classical interpretation of overbought and oversold will work wonders. So now we head back to the Visual JForex platform where we will start adding to the conditions which we have put in place earlier. This is the system with on candle being its start point. I have added this condition so far where the all amount position was defined at 0 to make sure that multiple trades are not taken and there is only one trade open at one point of time. Then here we saw this default instrument and second instrument being set, but as you can notice now the default instrument remained at Euro USD whereas the second instrument was GBP USD and it wouldn't have matched, resulting in the algorithm not placing any order. I think I'm now going to need to change it. We are working with the GBP this time around, so GBP and USD. Here it comes, GBP USD. All right. In all the Visual JForex blocks, the default instrument is now GBP USD. I will change the calculation period of the min max to 24 so that we have the price data of last 24 hours, that is one single trading session in the forex market. The market participants can trade round the clock 24 hours a day. Now let me add the multiple action block, the logical block of multiple action. Alright, here it comes. I'm now going to start adding the conditions for the execution of the trade. We are going to need a couple of this. Even I am not sure how many of these we are going to need. We will add it as we go along. Alright, now the current output value of the RSI needs to be in the oversold territory for the buy trade to take place. That means the out 13 value should be below 30. First input less than second input. Then it shouldn't be the case that the price drop has happened now only and we are going to go against the trend straight away. To avoid that, I'm going to add the condition that even 6 hours back prior to the current candle, uh, the output of the RSI was still below 30. So this will show the signs of consolidation. Then we start looking at the min-max conditions. This needs to be below 30. All right. After that, the minimum value needs to be compared. Current minimum needs to be greater than or equal to the minimum value 6 hours back. So I'm going to add this min max value. Okay, then we go for the placement of the trade. Okay, we now bring in trade component of open at market. This is for the buy trade. Buy trade has to happen if the current minimum is greater than or equal to the minimum value 6 hours back, that is minimum 16. All right, I'm not going to make any changes to these default parameters. These will remain the same. For the sell side, all we need is to invert the conditions. We are now quite aware that we are going to need 3 of these if-else statements and 1 trading block of open at market. Let me add this one by one. The RSI needs to be in the overbought territory for this trade to happen, because we are relying on the extreme values to generate a safe trading signals of scalping type. That means the current output of the RSI needs to be above 70. First input greater than second input. Then we can also do the comparison between these two RSI output values. And for the RSI 6 hours back, we need the output value to be above 70. Same condition applies, which is also there for the current output of the RSI. First input greater than second input. For the filtering mechanism, we have to ensure that no multiple trades take place if the momentum is strong. For that, I am going to add the conditions revolving the minimum output value. For the minimum output, I am going to take minimum 15, which needs to be greater than or equal to minimum 16. This for the buy, but no, not for the sell trade. We are going to need to do the comparison of maximum values, not minimum values. So I have to ensure that the current maximum, which is maximum 15, is above or no, the current maximum needs to be below or equal to the maximum value 6 hours back, which is maximum 16. And then we go for the execution of the trade. So for this, maximum needs to be less or equal, and here we go for the failed trade. These parameters are not going to be changed, so I will keep it as it is, which will give us a risk reward ratio of 1:2. Now we will save this file and carry out some testing to see how it has evolved. Export. Let me check it once again. Okay, here it is already there. Now I'm going to go to JForex platform where we need to import this file. So I have now changed the zoom to 100% only. There is one strategy running on the account to see how it goes. The new one, September 16th, 2024. I am going to first compile it so that the compiler can read it properly. Then we will do a test. Here I am opting for visual mode, instrument, account, instrument need to be changed, and GBP USD added. Previous week process. Let's start running it, and let's see what kind of trades are generated and how many times we make money or lose money. All that can be assessed using these historical tester, testing on the historical data. Let me change the candle grid to hourly. Let me check. Alright, here there are orders. One trade order was placed and one trade was opened, which remained in profit at the end of the week. It would be interesting to see how it works out, but as I said, the momentum was against us initially, and we had this continuous rise in the GBP/USD. But once the things stabilized, we did get this opportunity to short sell it. That's why I have tried to delay the execution of the trade by incorporating this condition revolving around the minimum and the maximum value. So you can see yourself that we have built a decent algorithm using the RSI and the min-max indicators. Min-max is essentially acting as a filtering mechanism, while the RSI is the main indicator, the indicator of choice around which this algorithm revolves. And I hope you have been able to understand the basic functionality of the RSI and how you can incorporate it for the design of your own algorithm. So thank you all for joining in. If you have any query regarding the algorithm which we have developed using this platform, the Visual JForex, with default instrument being GBP/USD, and if you raise any query, I will try my best to resolve it and get back to you. Now it's time for me to sign off for the day. I'll be back tomorrow with a equally interesting session to work with. See you next time around. Till then, goodbye.